I was just sitting on my porch in this quiet little cul-de-sac in Austin, Texas, halfway through demolishing a turkey club sandwich. Mayo was dripping everywhere, like some kind of sloppy art project, when I spotted my neighbor Susan out there in her yoga pants and those ridiculous wedge sandals, yanking at my mailbox like it had personally offended her. Picture it, me, mouth full of bread, staring wide-eyed as she heaved and tugged, the whole post coming up, roots, concrete chunk, and all, my mail spilling out like confetti at a bad party. "What the heck are you doing?" I hollered, still chewing, bits of lettuce probably flying. It felt like a scene from a bad sitcom, but nope, this was real life. Susan turned to me with that smug grin, face all flushed, and said, "This cul-de-sac's got new rules. Yours doesn't match. I'm fixing the block's vibe before it tanks our property values." Man, that hit me. Susan wasn't just nosy. She'd been the self-crowned queen of our neighborhood for years, nitpicking lawns, trash bins, even kids' bikes left out too long. All because her ex-husband ran off years back, leaving her with a big house and a bigger chip on her shoulder, turning her into this control freak who thought enforcing standards would keep her world from falling apart again. So, I pulled out my phone, snapped a picture, hands gripping it tight, the dirt-streaked base, her footprints everywhere. She snapped back, "You can't photograph me without permission." "Oh," I said, cool as ice, "this ain't for Instagram, Susan. It's for the postal folks." Her blink told me she had no clue how deep she was wading. I headed inside, finished that sandwich, it tasted like victory already, and dialed up the post office. The lady on the line went from polite to stone-cold serious when I explained. "Ma'am, tampering's a big deal. Fines up to 50 grand, maybe jail time." Part of me felt a twinge, like maybe Susan was just lost in her own head, chasing control because life had kicked her around. But then I remembered her dismissing me like I was the weirdo for caring about my own stuff, and sympathy evaporated. Next morning, a USPS van rolled up. This inspector guy, let's call him Mr. Reynolds, crisp uniform, clipboard ready, checked the hole in my yard, the scattered envelopes, those wedge prints leading straight to her door. Susan strutted out like she was hosting a barbecue, waved her hand all dramatic, and said, "I'm on the HOA board." That box was non-compliant. I did everyone a favor. Reynolds didn't flinch, just asked flat out, "Did you remove this yourself?" "Absolutely," she beamed. "You're welcome." He scribbled, "Thanks for the confession. Mailboxes are federal property. HOA's got zero say." Her face drained white, stammering about bylaws and aesthetics, but he was already warning her about personal liability. Inside, I was grinning. Game on. A few days later, the HOA tried to muscle in, sliding a fancy letter under my door, cream paper, embossed logo, like their royalty, claiming I'm the violator now, got to install their approved model or face $500 a day in fines. All because Susan probably whispered in the board's ear, desperate to shift blame and protect her little fiefdom. Rumors were she'd been hounding them for months about sloppy yards eroding our resale values, her way of clinging to power amid her own messy divorce fallout. Most folks would have caved, rushed to the hardware store, swallowed their pride, but not me. I'd been collecting ammo, those USPS docs, stamped official, photos time-stamped, and I taped their threat to my fridge like a reminder, letting them stew while I waited for the hammer. Sure enough, inspectors swung by Susan's place with a thick packet. I watched from my window as she gestured wildly, pointing at my yard, but they handed it over stone-faced. Soon, my buddy down the street called, laughing, "She's losing it on the phone, yelling about fines she can't pay, slamming doors like a tornado." The board started cracking too. One guy, Mike, who'd been HOA treasurer forever, cornered me by the trash cans, scratching his neck, awkward. "Hey, about that letter, maybe we overreacted. Just forget it." "Yeah," I tilted my head, "the extortion one. Nothing personal, right?" He chuckled, nervous, and shuffled off. I knew they were scared, not of me, but of the blowback Susan's obsession dragged them into. Her emails, leaking later, showed she'd threatened to enforce stuff herself if they didn't, all rooted in her fear of chaos after her life unraveled. But Susan doubled down, planted this tacky beige mailbox in my yard one morning, gold trim, crooked as her logic, eagle on top looking embarrassed, and knocked, proud. Problem solved. Thank me later. I stared. Susan, that's more tampering. Evidence now. Her twitch said she was cracking, but she stormed off, muttering about the board. Weeks ticked by. The fine hit, $50,000, bam. Susan lawyered up with some budget suit who argued HOA rules trump federal law, but Discovery blew it wide open. Her all-caps rants ignored by the board, their letter just a panicked cover-up, exposing how they'd let her bully them for years out of sheer exhaustion. Her deeper motive shone through, using the neighborhood as her therapy, enforcing order to mask her own inner mess. The neighborhood buzzed. Folks thanked me quietly, one lady with cookies, whispering, "We've waited for someone to push back." I told her, "It's not me. It's gravity catching up." Susan rallied with a petition, "Sign if you think I saved us." But doors slammed. At the HOA meeting, she ranted like a movie villain, "We're under attack. Government overreach." I raised a hand, calm. "How's the USPS overstepping on their own property?" The room erupted in laughs. She hissed, "You entrapped me." But the tide was turning. The court was a circus, her lawyer stammered, the judge cut in sharp, "You saying a homeowners group outranks the feds?" Susan interrupted, yelling about aesthetics mattering more than laws, nearly earning contempt. Outside, the block split, her few loyalists clinging out of fear, everyone else fed up, whispering, "Mailbox Madness," jokes and memes flying. She called the cops on me, claiming I stole the thing myself. The officer's eye roll was epic as I showed pics, warning her about false reports. Her rally flopped, 15 folks, mostly her cousin's tire shop buddies, spouting constitutional rants. The HOA voted her out, 85% yes. Her meltdown was epic, screaming threats as security hauled her, kicking. Videos went viral by dawn, local news smirking over Mailbox Susan's $50K fiasco. Cornered and desperate, her control slipping like sand, echoing that ex who left her powerless, Susan went nuclear. Press conference in the street, suing the whole USPS for tyranny, waving papers, accusing me of sabotage, attracting conspiracy nuts who gawked and left flowers at that crooked box. The neighborhood tensed, kids kept inside. But the peak hit late at night, she trespassed with cronies, sledgehammer raised to smash it as an oppression symbol. Me, recording steady, "This adds jail time, Susan." Cops flooded in, flashing lights, someone tipped them, and cuffed her mid-shriek, "I'm fighting for us." Neighbors watched, laughing, relieved, her martyr image shattering into a cautionary tale. In the end, the lawsuit was tossed, the fine stuck, charges piled on, probation, service, maybe bars. The block bloomed free, wild yards, chalk art, mismatched mailboxes like rebellion flags. Mine, restored, shiny, a trophy. Shaking the inspector's hand, he grinned, "You handled this like a pro. Ever think of a board run?" "Nah," I laughed, "winning from the porch suits me." Reflecting, I realized staying cool let her unravel herself, teaching us all that bullies thrive on silence, but light them up, and they crumble. Yet, it makes you wonder, was it justice, or just luck I knew the law? Could have been me fined if roles flipped, right? What do you think? Ever dealt with a neighborhood tyrant like Susan? Drop a comment, share your story. Did she deserve the full fallout, or was there a better way? Hit like if this hooked you. Subscribe for more real-life twists. Let's chat below.